one of the things you speak on a lot is abundance.
Yes.
And what I tell people is your greatest abundance is attached to the highest version of you. And the highest version of you is the healthiest version of you.
Nice.
You understand, like, when you have diabetes, when you have high blood pressure, when you have an autoimmune condition, when your body is raging at you in the form of symptoms, you can't even hear intuition being downloaded from the divine. You can't even hear opportunity knocking for you. There are relationships that been put in place for you, but you're not even in a place mentally to nourish those relationships. And so they go past you. And so the big emphasis I would, put on people is this, is start making your health a priority instead of an option.
Hey, wait. I know you want to watch this next video, but listen, if you are an entrepreneur, business coach, business consultant, or a small business owner who has a story and wants to learn how to create multiple streams of income from your story, I need you to text me right now, my book, to 646-687-4152. That is my personal number. I have been an author for over 12 years. I've written 10 books. 4 of them have been bestsellers, and I've sold over 100,000 books. But I've also helped a lot of my clients take their expertise and put it into a story, then create multiple streams of income from that. So I want to help you do the same thing. So text my book to 646-687-4152. All right, let's go back to the video. So welcome to another awesome episode of Inside the Vault with Ash Cash, the greatest money mindset show on the planet. Listen, when I tell you this episode is probably going to be one of the most important episodes you've ever seen in your life. Not only is this going to save your life, but this is going to add some years to your life, your kids' life, your family's life. It's going to help you live in abundance, not only but from a wealth perspective, from a health perspective as well. So let me ask you a question. Are plant-based diets healthy? Well, research shows that following a plant-based diet has significant health benefits if you do it correctly. And former pharmacist Dr. Bobby Price has the blueprint. Today, instead of filling synthetic prescriptions, he is a certified plant-based nutritionist and exercise physiologist on a mission to educate the world on the power of plant-based foods, herbal medicine, and holistic techniques to help others restore their well-being. Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause for my man, Dr. Bobby Price. What's up, brother?
Man, you know how to bring them out.
Oh, man. Now, I need people to feel this energy, right? Because, I appreciate everything that you're doing for the community, everything that you're doing for my life, my wife's life, my family's life. Literally, if you look behind us, your book is amazing. This is actually, I'm on day 5. So as we're taping this, I'm actually going through your detox program as we speak. I'm on day number 5. I feel amazing. The detox literally takes, the parasites out your system and all of the tummy detox. And we're going to have you talk about all of that, right? Takes it all out your system. It's giving me so much energy. I'm literally eating once a day. Not like, I'm not forcing myself. I mean, you don't give us no, we'll talk, there's no restrictions on how many times you can eat. But I'm literally eating 1 time a day and I feel fine. I got a lot of energy. At the time of this recording, I should be tired, but I'm not. I almost feel like I'm on caffeine, right? But before we start all that, because I'm excited about this interview, for those who don't know, who is Dr. Bobby Price?
So as you said, I'm a plant-based pharmacist turned herbalist. And, I started my journey simply by trying to heal myself. I was diagnosed with high blood pressure when I was 16. And it didn't matter that I was an athlete or only had like 5% body fat. I still got high blood pressure.
Wow.
And so I lived with high blood pressure for about a decade. And I saw all of my grandparents die by the time I was in the 10th grade. I saw a lot of family members die of diabetes, heart disease, etc. And I just didn't want that for me. And because I was working in the hospital and being a black doctor in the hospital, people looked for me as a source. And I felt like a hypocrite because I was unhealthy in the hospital, giving out health advice.
Wow.
And so I started this journey trying to figure out how to heal myself. And I tried everything, Ash Cash. I tried every diet you can think of, you know, these Nutrisystems, Shanti, like you name it, I tried it and it didn't work. I would lose like 5 pounds. My blood pressure would go down a little bit, go right back up. And out of desperation, I said, you know what, I'm gonna try herbs because I was already a herbalist, even though I was a pharmacist. And I was gonna do a plant-based diet for 21 days, and in 21 days I lost 17 pounds, and it dropped my blood pressure by 10 points.
Wow.
And so it kept dropping as I stayed on the journey, and soon people at the hospital started seeing me. They were like, man, you're fading away. Like, you got a visible neckline now, your white coat is hanging off you, your skin is better.
Yeah.
And so people wanted to know what I was doing, and so I literally grabbed the prescription pad and started writing down, this is what I did, go do it for 30 days, let me know how it goes. And people were coming back like, yo, it worked. Wow. And when people started calling the pharmacy and saying, hey, my uncle, he did that thing you gave him, like I was wondering, can I get one too? And I'm like, wait, what are you asking him? Right. He was like, oh, I'm sorry, I probably shouldn't have called. I know how this probably can get you messed up. And that was the light bulb. It was like, actually healing people was dangerous.
Wait. They call it the pharmacy for not a prescription,
yes,
but for the other prescription.
That prescription.
Right, that prescription.
And so that was the light bulb. Like, damn, like we're not in the business of healing. Like at the hospital, it's like we got sick care, not health care. And so it was like, all right, so what are you gonna do? Yeah. And so it just sent me off on this journey where, you know, I moved to Japan for 4 years and sort of study a group of people there who live to 100, no disease, eat primarily a plant-based lifestyle, and lived there for 4 years. And then I just took off going around the world studying with anybody who would let me in their village or, you know, whatever, learn about herbalism, learn about Ayurvedic medicine in India, learn about herbalism in Africa, just traveling the world with whoever I could study, and then came back here where I wrote the book, Vegetation Over Medication. Which is a wonder,
like, this book is so powerful because I want to say most books that are trying to teach you about health don't necessarily relate to you, right? Like, it's not written in a way where, you know, it feels like an academic wrote it, right? Yeah. This one, it feels like we having a conversation. Like I'm envisioning your journey. I'm seeing, you know, as you're going to Japan and India. Like, I'm feeling the conversations that you're having. What would you say is the biggest lesson that you learned in the 4 years of being with Centaurians, people who, like, not just one person, right? Like in our community, we might, if we see it, we might see one person. Oh, my grandmother lived to 100. A whole village of Centaurians. What's the biggest lesson you learned there?
Man, the biggest lesson was like the shock value of seeing these people who are 97, 102, 105 ride bicycles up hills, you know, farm, walk, have fluid conversations. Like, that was the biggest lesson. It was like the idea that I have about aging is not the idea that was intended for us. And so that was one of the big shock values there. And then the other lesson that was very valuable to me was that when we find ourselves in alignment with nature, because we got so out of line with nature, when we find ourselves realigning back with nature, we rediscover ourselves. And once we rediscover ourselves, we discovered the highest versions of ourselves. And that was what I was seeing with these people. Like, they were just happy, no stress, loving. And to be able to experience that every weekend for 4 years, I just wanted to bring it back to the Black community because I'm like, you know, I used to experience this growing up with my great grandparents. You know, like, they lived on a farm, like everything. When they made a meal, they went outside to grab the food. to grab the vegetables. Like they grew everything. And so I was like, I'm watching them in Japan, but I'm like, this looked like my great grandparents.
Yeah.
And my grandmother lived to 105.
Wow, bless.
You know, her daughter, my grandmother, lived to 67. The lifestyle shift.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? But my great grandmother stayed within alignment with nature. She never left that. And so that was the biggest lesson I learned, was that not only do these people have the secrets, but we had the secret. We gave it up for conveniences. Yeah.
So if I hear you correctly, convenience will kill.
It's like, even in being an entrepreneur, like everybody want to take the short way.
Right.
And you listen, you can make money the short way.
Yeah.
But this is a long game. It's a marathon.
Right.
Like you're building a business for generational wealth.
Right.
And so it's the same thing with health. It's the philosophies are literally parallel.
Yeah.
If you want to build generational health, there is no short path to it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
work, it's discipline, it's
Yeah.
alignment, it's commitment, it's knowing your why. It's all of these things. And so, yeah, it's no short game to it, man.
Yeah. Let's talk about the biggest drug that exists, right? Because when you think about the war on drugs, we think about crack, cocaine, opium, fentanyl now. But there's a drug that's equally or maybe worse than any of what I just named, but somehow it's illegal.
Yeah.
Somehow it's in every single thing that we consume.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that drug.
Man, that's sugar. And if I had to break it out even further, is really food today. Because food has been like it's been deviled up. Like our concept of what is food is not really food.
Yeah.
Because most of what we eating is in a box, bag, can, jar, etc. And that means that it's been processed. That means food chemicals have been added to it.
Yeah.
It means it's been changed from its original state.
Yeah.
But by far, the most dangerous of those foods is sugar.
Wow.
And the reason why it's so dangerous is because if you look out in nature, you will not find a sugar tree anywhere. You won't find a sugar tree, a sugar bush, a sugar branch. It just doesn't exist.
Right.
And so what happens is we have to pull it out of something. We have to pull sugars out of beets. We have to pull it out of cane. Or we manufacture it and call it high fructose corn syrup. And it's synthetic.
Yeah.
And so what happens is our body's primary fuel is sugar, but what we're putting in our body is not the way that our body was designed to receive sugar. So when it comes in that way, unadulterated, and it comes in that way unattached to fiber, because when you look at it inside of fruits, for instance, fruits have fiber attached to sugar. So what happens when you eat it, it's like you eat the sugar and it's like that grandfather who don't want to give up no money and he give you a quarter each time. That's what happens in our blood. Like the sugar is being released slowly, which is healthy for you. It gives the insulin time to come, grab it up, take it to the muscle and say, hey, you go inside of there, give the muscle some energy.
Yeah.
But when you don't have that fiber there, it's like literally taking wads of money and like throwing it out in the blood. And the insulin is like, I don't know what to do with it. So that's why diabetes is so prevalent. And the unfortunate thing about sugar, and I talk about this in my book, I have a whole chapter dedicated to sugar, is that sugar is more addictive than cocaine and all the illicit drugs.
Wow.
And the other unfortunate thing is that sugar feeds cancer. And we know this because when somebody gets cancer, one of the primary things we do when you come in, we'll do a PET scan. And a PET scan is like taking a cube of sugar and putting radiation dye on it. And when they inject that into the body and it goes out into the blood and goes all over the body, the tissue that is highlighted, that is eating the most sugar, is the cancerous tissue. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why we do a PET scan.
Wow.
Because cancerous cells or tumors, they love sugar even more than our own body.
Wow.
And so it tells you what sugar is doing to us. So that's one of the primary ways, unfortunately, you can help yourself get away from cancer. But the unfortunate thing is, sugar is ultimately in everything today,
Right. And you said sugar is even more or can be more addictive than cocaine.
Yeah, in studies, they've shown this, they've proven it with rats. And so what they'll do is they'll give a rat 2 sides they can go to and choose.
Yeah.
And they'll choose both. They'll try this one and then they'll try that one, and before you know it, like, they are addicted to the sugar.
Wow.
And then when you take it away, they have the same effects that the rat would have had if they were addicted to cocaine.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And so
That's why everybody say that's sweet tooth. But
yeah.
it's so benign when we say that. You're like, I got a sweet tooth.
Yeah.
Like, we say it real cool, but we don't understand what it's doing to our body. So it's not just cancer, it's the inflammation in your body.
Yeah.
It ruins our gut. It suppresses our immune system.
Yeah.
It causes us to have fatigue, because what happens is the sugar high goes up, right? You get the energy, and then what it does, drops you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank God for cheese and milk then, because
yeah?
'cause if sugar right, if sugar's like cocaine, then I'm just gonna stick to the cheese.
But you know what's so interesting?
Yeah.
Cheese is sugar. When they say you're lactose intolerant, lactose is a sugar. Okay, and not only that, in cheese, it's even more dangerous than sugar.
Wow.
Because it has these compounds in it called casomorphines. Does it sound familiar? Morphine.
Wow.
It has the same opioid effect on the brain as morphine, the drug.
Wow.
So that's why people are even more addicted to cheese than they are sugar.
Wow.
Indeed.
And so if I hear you correctly, we should be avoiding cheese.
We were not made to eat cheese.
Yeah.
Cheese is a byproduct of milk.
Yeah.
And specifically cow's milk.
Yeah.
Now, out in the animal kingdom, you will never see another animal drink another animal's milk.
Yeah.
Also in the animal kingdom, you will never see an adult cow or monkey drink milk after infancy. Even if I offered milk to a cow, they will not drink it. It's crazy to them.
Wow.
But we're the only mammals in the world that actually drink and ingest, liquid and both solid forms of milk after infancy.
Wow.
And we don't even have the enzymes to break that milk down. That's why 70% of the population is actually lactose intolerant.
Wow. What's the easiest way? Like, how do you get rid of that? Like, how do you ditch milk? Like, how do you
I always tell people, like, the best thing you could do is find an alternative.
Yeah.
So, like, for me, I've been plant-based, no meat. I don't want to say, I hate that word. I'm not saying hate, but I don't like plant-based anymore, because they devil that up.
Right.
Now when people hear plant-based, they think, oh, so mostly what you eat is plants.
Right.
And same thing with vegan. They think if you're vegan, then you eat healthy. No, that's not true either. But what I will say is, like, finding alternatives is very important. And because I've been on this journey for over a decade, I know how to use plants to make a substitute for it. So I would use nuts to make a form of a cheese. Make sense?
Yeah.
And so that's one way, finding alternatives. But the other way is just real simple and plain. When you're addicted to anything, you got to go through the draw.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way around it. It's like, the best way I can, like, if somebody's addicted to crack cocaine, you can't say, I'm gonna wean myself off of crack cocaine by having smaller amounts of crack cocaine. It's just not gonna work.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's so important to find alternatives. And then that's why it's also so important to understand your why behind what you're doing. Like, what are you trying to achieve? Like, I know that you're trying to achieve generational health in the form of generational wealth as well. Like, part of the equation of generational wealth has to have health in there.
Yeah.
Because every seed that you create in this earth, you pass down your genetics to them.
Yeah.
Okay, and if that's toxic in any form, you also pass that down.
Yeah.
Okay, and so that's why, on average, most babies that come out, like, they have 200 or more toxins in their bodies before they're even born.
Wow.
Yeah, so that didn't come from the baby being formed, that came from you.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the unfortunate thing, and I'm sure we're gonna get into this, is that the unfortunate things is toxins are rampant, and especially in the American market, because most of the foods here in America are illegal and banned in other countries.
Wow.
And so what you'll see when you travel, a bag of Lay's potato chips here and the ingredients, and you go to another country, the ingredients are totally different.
Wow.
You know, and so it's just, you know, like, it's just unfortunate.
Wow. And so, you know, let me say this real quick, that crack example, and I don't know why, I mean, I know why, but that crack example just helped me.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I know a lot of people who's watching this could relate to it, where anytime you're in a transition, when you're trying to start a diet or detox or eat healthier, what winds up happening is you go through that withdrawal.
Yeah.
Your head start hurting,
Yep.
the cravings, you you're going through it, and then you give up though.
Yep.
A lot of times you give up, and you give up because you succumb to the thing that has been calling you, right?
Yep.
So like, you know, and I've done this many times where, you know, I've tried to like detox, or I've tried to eat plant-based or vegan or clean or whatever, and I start getting these headaches. And
Yep.
then I'm like, man. And then I wind up saying, you know what, F that. I'm gonna drink juice or something like that. Sugar.
You feel better,
I
don't you?
feel better.
I can explain that.
Yeah, please.
The reason why you feel better is the same reason why a person addicted to crack cocaine feels better when they get that high.
Yeah.
Because what happens is the brain has been conditioned. It has been conditioned, I need this dopamine hit. And when it doesn't get it, what happens is the body starts to respond in a way to make you do it. And the best way I can explain to that is like your mind is supposed to be in your mind, so that when you think, you tell your body what to do. But what happens when you become addicted is your mind is no longer in your mind, it's in your body now. And your body is automated, it's conditioned to the addiction.
Yeah.
So whatever the addiction tells the body to do, it will do. And so the addiction, what happens is when you are saying, I don't no longer want this, I want a better path, the addiction is in your body now. It's going to make your body react in a certain way to say that you're going to do this for me or otherwise.
Yeah.
And so it's a journey, but the part of that is the detox.
Yeah.
You know, because like, you know, one of my favorite quotes is that herbs were made for the healing of the earth. And the earth, when we think about it, we think about this globe that we live on,
Yeah.
but it's referring to this body, because this is the lower form, as above, so below.
Oh, yeah.
This is our earth. This is where we live here.
Yeah.
And so what happens is it's just really important for us to understand that herbs were made for the healing of the earth. And what that means is herbs are made to pull things out of the body,
Yeah.
to reset the biochemistry, because that's what happens. Like, food is really a drug, like today's food. And when I say food, I have to make that distinguishment, because when people hear food, like this right here,
Yeah,
like this
yeah.
is food.
Right.
But when people think food, they think about what's on their plate, what they ordered at the restaurant, what they can get in a box, bag, can, jar, etc. But what they don't understand is that, I'll give you, this is the best way to explain it. What you do is, to trick somebody, is you make them think they're getting what they were getting in the first place. So that's why I was mentioning earlier, you know, 10 years ago when I said I didn't want to be called vegan, because vegan just means that I don't eat animal products.
Right.
I can eat Doritos, I can eat Oreos, because they're vegan. They don't have animal products in them.
Yeah.
And so I said, that's not enough.
Yeah.
Like, that's not gonna keep me healthy. I'm gonna die like everybody
Facts.
else.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
a slow death too.
Yeah.
And so I said, I'm plant-based.
Yeah.
Everything I eat is based in plants.
Yeah.
And then they double that up, because when you go to the market now,
Yeah.
it'll say plant-based, but I read labels.
Yeah.
When I turn it on the back and look at the label, I'm like, half of that ain't plants.
Wow.
And the first thing isn't plants. So how can this be plant-based?
Yeah.
And so it's a journey, brother.
Wow.
Like, you know, like the trickery that they put in the system now, how they deviled up food and convinced us that we're eating healthy, but we're not eating healthy. And we don't understand the damage that we're doing to our bodies, and so many symptoms, I'll just call them symptoms, so many symptoms, like we pacify them. I got a headache is normal.
Right.
I'm gonna go get Excedrin.
Right.
But you don't have a Excedrin deficiency. you got a problem. Like that's your body telling you something is wrong.
Yeah.
And we just don't understand the language of the body, so we don't know how to respond to it.
Wow. And so one of the things I love, right? So like you have this fruit basket that is locally sourced from your farm, right? Talk a little bit about some of these fruits that you got in this.
Yeah. So my whole idea was that, man, you gotta understand, like when I lived in Japan, I made like $250,000 out there.
Yeah.
And I only worked 2 weeks out of a month, so I got to travel the other 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So to walk away from that was like tough, like coming like from, like I didn't grow up with a silver spoon.
Yeah.
And so like walking away from that was like, it was tough.
Yeah.
But the idea was, what legacy do you want to leave?
Yeah.
And when I sat down with myself and said, what do you want to be known for? What impact, what transformation do you want to have within yourself, have within your community? The idea was, okay, I want to leave a legacy of health, healing, and rebuilding. And if I'm going to do that, I have to get back to the source.
Yeah.
And so many people are tapped into the wrong source. And so this is a natural source. Like fruit in particular is the highest form of food. And I don't say that loosely because, again, like I'm not a very religious person, but like I think the Bible is very, very, especially Genesis. Like if you read it, it tells you what to do.
Yeah.
Okay, so I give you every fruit-bearing seed to have as food. That's your food.
Yeah.
And so one of the people I was studying when I was trying to understand like longevity was a guy in China who lived to like 200 years old.
Wow.
And one of the things he said was, I do not eat anything below the ground. Okay, I don't eat any, only thing he ate below the ground was ginseng. He was like, the perfect food is within your reach. And that food is fruit.
Wow.
You understand? And so one of the ideas I said, I gotta own a farm.
Yeah.
Because if you look at genetically modified foods and how they burst onto the scenes, like 80% of the foods in the supermarket have genetically modified foods in them. People don't understand what it's doing to their health.
Wow.
And so that was part of the solution to helping the community, was to buy a farm and create a company, I Heart Fruit Box, where we can deliver seeded, seasonal fruit to people that is tropical. So these are all tropical fruit that I bought for you, bro.
Nice. No, I appreciate you.
Yeah.
This might be a random question though, right? But Elmer's glue has a cow on it. Why is that?
It has a cow on it because essentially Elmer's glue is milk. That's why they put the cow on the front. And so that's why the same way that Elmer's glue is a glue.
Yeah.
That's why milk and milk byproducts, cheese and etc., turn into a glue inside of the digestive system. That's why it constipates you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And so I want to talk a little bit about. I mean, you mentioned making 250,000, in Japan, and now you started your own business as somebody who's doing this now, right? You've been able to create a 7-figure plus business, as an herbalist, as somebody who's helping save lives. And then you also are teaching other people in the health profession how to do the same thing. So not only are you saving lives and living in abundance, health-wise, but financially, you've also created a program that's helping others do the same, which is a double blessing, right? Talk a little bit about that for me.
So it's so funny. I've always been like an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Like my first bout at entrepreneurism was like taking candy to school.
Yeah.
To like exchange with like this white boy I knew to get his lunch and sell, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I always knew like that exchange of goods, you can always provide for yourself. Like I would leave like elementary with like $20. And so I've always had that concept of always have some type of entrepreneurship. And so as I come out of the hospital and work for the FDA and all that kind of stuff, I was like, there's no way I can do what I want to do in the way that I want to do it in the hospital. They're just not going to let me do it. And so the only way that I'm going to be allowed to be able to do that is for me to create my own business and be able to operate and move in the way that I want to. And so creating this business, to be honest with you, brother, I thought the book was gonna be it.
Yeah.
You know, I was doing the detox for myself because I was traveling the world, but I never looked at it as a product.
And you sold a lot of books, though.
I sold a lot of books.
Yeah, so talk a little bit, though. How many books have you been able to sell?
About 120,000 copies.
Sheesh.
Yeah. So,
wow.
And that blew me away because my first event in 2011 or 12, I had helped this lady reverse her diabetes.
Yeah.
She was sort of like the manager at the World Congress Center. She's like, I'm gonna give you a room for 500 people. People need to know who you are.
Wow.
And so I passed out like 10,000 flyers all over Atlanta, and 4 people showed up.
Wow.
And you know, at first I was disappointed, but then I remembered like whoever show up, that's who get impacted.
Yeah.
And so when I was writing the book, the way you was explaining it, like, is very readable.
Yeah.
The first version of it wasn't. It was very scientific because, like, you know, by education, I'm a scientist.
Right.
But then I realized people don't learn that way.
Right.
And especially our people.
Yeah.
And so I said, you know what? I'm gonna write this book for the people. And with that being said, like, I moved back and my first book signing sold out, and I thought that was gonna be it. And then the book started going crazy on Amazon, got over 1,000 5-star reviews.
Wow.
And I started getting requested for speaking engagements, and it's just been a beautiful process. But literally the sauce to why it's been successful is because I wrote it for the people. I wrote it for the person who said, I'm lost.
Yeah.
And I just got this diagnosis. I just saw my mom go through this. And I can't go that route because I saw what happened to her in the hospital.
Yeah.
And so I need to find a way to prevent disease. I need to find a way to heal myself and take ownership of my own health. And so I think that's been like the secret sauce of the book.
Yeah. No, I love that. And so 125,000 books and still going. But again, still was able to create, you know, 7-figure plus business.
Yeah, because see the thing is, like, the other part about a book is I was an expert already.
Right.
Like, you know, I had the degrees. I'm a doctorate of what I do.
Yeah.
But I wasn't an authority. And what that means is that only people who would look for information from me were the people who were looking for my expertise.
Right.
But the truth of the matter is, despite the fact that 70% of America is on a prescription medication, most of them do not want to be on a prescription medication. And so, like, the whole idea was, you know, like, let me enter into the conversation where people are simply saying, hey, I got this diagnosis, I want to do something different. And so, like, you know, like, that's been a huge part of the success. But the other thing was, like, you know, a book is just the beginning.
Yeah.
Because, like, once you solve a problem for somebody, the cool thing is like, all right, I got another problem.
Right.
What you got for that?
Exactly, yeah.
And so, like, you know, that's essentially what I did. You know, one of the cool people who I looked for, like, and watched how they grew their business growing up was like Ted Turner. So Ted Turner owned a radio station that you could listen to the Braves. And then he bought the Braves.
Yeah.
And then he bought Ted Turner Field. And then he bought CNN, and then he bought TNT.
Yeah.
All to feed each other.
Right.
And so, like, the idea is like, don't try to create all of these businesses that don't have anything to do with each other.
Yeah.
You have thousands of people around the world who have decided that you are my guide along this journey.
Yeah.
And whatever I have a problem with, I need you to be able to figure out what that is.
Yeah.
And so literally my business has grown because each time, you know, a large group of what I call my tribe say, hey, we got a problem and you don't have a solution for it, I go to the lab and say, all right, or I go to go to nature and say, all right, so what's the solution for this?
Yeah.
And so it's just grown in that way. And so I always say that I have a 7-figure transformation business. You know, it's very profitable, but like I always focus on the outcome, because if you focus on the outcome, the income always comes.
Ooh.
It always
focus on the outcome, the income's gonna come.
Yeah, you focus on the outcome, then comes the income.
Yeah.
And so what I see with a lot of entrepreneurs is they're trying to get it so quick. They're creating these products, these services that don't hold the value.
Yeah.
So what happens is they buy it, you get rich, but they like, this didn't work for me.
Yeah.
Why would I come to you for another solution?
Right. Yeah.
And so everything I do, I put that type of emphasis on it.
Yeah.
I won't create a supplement unless it's very valuable.
Yeah.
And so one of the biggest issues I saw women having was with iron. You know, they take all of these iron pills, and the unfortunate thing is that iron is still low.
Yeah.
And the iron pill constipates them, and they still have the fatigue, and their periods are still heavy. And so I just had all of these people in my tribe membership saying, you have got to create something for this. And so it took me like 6 months. I create this, you know, supplement for them, and not only are they saying their iron levels are going up, now they're saying, you know, not only my iron levels up, my hair, skin, and nails are looking better.
Wow.
And so, you know, like that's what I always tell entrepreneurs, like that marathon, if you run a marathon and instead of trying to run a 100-meter race, like you create so much value for people. What happens is your most valuable asset in marketing is when a customer tells everybody in their circle,
right,
this man changed my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you on wet iron. Oh no, you on the wrong iron.
Yeah.
They don't even gotta know which one it is.
Right.
And so that's what it's really about for me. It's like create that type of transformation, create that type of experience for people, because, you know, the current options that they have today in the health market, like it just does not equal healing.
Yeah.
You know, it equals treatment,
right,
which is different from healing. And the best way I can explain that is like when you get treatment for your high blood pressure, for instance.
Yeah.
Most people who have a stroke or a heart attack, they're on medication when they have it.
Yeah.
So despite the fact that their blood pressure was lowered,
right,
the degeneration was still happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's essentially like, okay, well, if I'm taking this and I'm doing what I'm supposed to, and I still had this heart attack, why is that?
Right.
And it's because medications manipulate our biochemistry.
It doesn't heal it.
It doesn't heal it. Nature corrects the biochemistry.
Wow.
So you don't have to do it. You don't have, you got to take the nature for life, meaning you got to eat this way for life.
Yeah.
You know, but the good thing is that you're not going to be degenerating in the process.
Yeah, yeah. And I love what you said about, you know, using what's already working, if you will, you know, and kind of building off of that, right? And I don't want any entrepreneurs who are watching this to miss out on that. Is if you provide the solution, you got the book, you've sold all of these copies of this book, and people are telling you, yes, I have this problem, instead of trying to go away and create something that's totally against or different from what you've already created, build off of what you've created, so that way now you can provide the solution. So now you have the tummy, the tummy detox, you have the detox, you have the herbs, you have the iron pills, you have the sea moss, like you have all this stuff that that you provide. Like it makes sense that you have a farm, right? That you're offering ways for people to get fresh fruits, right? So I love that. And so talk to the person that your program is for, right? The health professional or I don't know if it's only for health professionals.
Not at all.
Yeah,
not at all.
Talk about who the program is for.
Yeah, so it's been cool because like I said, I've always been an entrepreneur, and man, I've invested at least 150 grand in programs.
100%, yeah.
You know, and I want to invest more.
Yeah.
I just need to find the right program.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, right program?
Right.
Count me in.
Yes.
And so, you know, throughout this process, like I started the journey and I didn't know what was going to happen. It was just simply I had nurses, doctors, you know, pharmacists, but I also had vegan chefs in my DMs. I had, you know, trainers in my DMs. I had doulas in my DMs, like asking me like I love the way you do your business, because the way you do your business is with integrity and is also purpose driven. How can I learn from you? So I had all these people asking me like, how can I get mentored by you? And you know, being an entrepreneur, like mentorship is something you can't just do with everybody.
Right,
like
100%.
your time is probably your most valuable asset.
Absolutely.
And everybody's pulling for it. And so, you know, out of necessity, I said, you know what, I'm gonna create a boot camp.
Yeah.
Create a boot camp, 5-day boot camp, where I'll teach you some of the secret sauce of how I built my business, the slow way, the long way, the marathon way.
Yeah.
And inside of the boot camp, like we're going through everything. You know, like I'm teaching them how to build an audience. I'm teaching them how to get over imposter syndrome because it's coming.
Yeah.
I'm teaching them how to set up the framework.
Yeah.
You know, and teaching them like why you don't need thousands of followers to build a successful business.
Yeah.
And teaching them how to do it with integrity and how to do it with impact. And then also all of these multiple streams of income within a business that starts from a book.
Yeah.
You know, or could start from webinars, or could start from this. And so I've launched that now 5 times. And we just had people who like gone through the roof, brother. Like,
Nice.
and so now I'm like, oh, so I know this entrepreneur space.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and honestly, through, you know, getting dogged out as an entrepreneur, like, you know, they say success leads to breadcrumbs, but it's really failure.
Yeah.
Like, failure really teaches you the lessons, not success.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, a lot of times when you win, you like, wait, what did I do?
Exactly.
But when you fail, you know why you
right,
failed.
you know why you failed, right?
And that is the instant lesson that is given to you, like, okay, don't do it that way.
Yeah.
Do it this way.
Yeah.
And so that's a lot of what I've gotten through my experience, you know, and I've just been teaching them, like, how to run the play and how to be their amazing self and how to live through their own purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love that. And so InsideHealthBootCamp.com is where you could spend 5 days with you.
Yep.
Right. And if they're smart, they'll get the VIP so they can ask questions and they can really kind of help. And so, you know, talk a little bit about, you know, that 5-day experience, you know, what they're learning and, you know, what would somebody expect coming out of it? Like once they come out of this 5-day boot camp, all right, they're gonna be, you know what?
Well, you know, the biggest thing about shifting, because it is a shift, like, especially for people, like when you're working up 9 to 5, like I was, working 12 hours at the hospital, sometimes 14 hours, there's a difference between how you think as an employee and how you think as an entrepreneur.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
And that is your biggest barrier.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't understand how you make that shift and a lot of people don't even understand that you need to make that shift.
Yeah.
And so that's one thing that they're gonna get out of it is how do you make that shift to turn that on? And the other thing is like when I'm inside of the boot camp, I'm not in there dogging people about having a 9 to 5 because I transition out of a 9 to 5 into what I do.
Yeah.
And so I'm teaching them how to do that as well. And then also like giving them all of those little mistakes that I did wrong that I'm like, damn, I made 6 figures in my first year. If I would have did this differently, I would have made even more. Like I hired too early and I should have hired this person instead of that person.
Yeah.
I created this content like this, I should have created it like this. Because
Yeah.
quite often what happens is a lot of people when they're creating content based off the trend. They're not creating content to create impact, one.
Yeah.
They're not creating content, secondly, to create transformation.
Yeah.
and they're not creating content and telling their people what to do with the content.
Yeah.
You're just creating content and then it's over and then you get all these likes, you get all these comments,
Yeah.
and people don't know what to do with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I'm teaching them in there how to create content in such a way that when you speak, people will listen.
Yeah.
And the most important thing is understanding when you speak, who to listen to. Because a lot of times people are listening to everybody. And I listen to what I call my tribe. I have a membership program, and I teach people about that as well. But I listen to my tribe members. They tell me what it is.
Yeah.
And the reason why that's so important is because when I do a live, I text my tribe members and say, hey, I'm going live.
Yeah.
And 200 people show up in the live. And when I'm talking about my detox, I got 200 people who are talking about their experience with my detox, reading the book. And so they're guiding people along the journey when they have questions. And I'm so into the live and talking to people that people are like, wait, what detox? I mean, I got people who've been following me for like a year and they're like, wait, you got a detox? And now my tribe members are in there telling them, no, oh, I did the detox and this is what happened for me, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I teach people the value of that and how do you connect with those people?
Yeah, and I love that. And that's one of my questions too, is how do you build a movement, if you will, right?
Yeah.
Because, I remember like when I purchased the detox, and I wanted to kind of just see what people were saying and stuff like that. So I went to YouTube and I typed Dr. Bobby Price, and it's like a movement. It's like I think there's more videos that pop up that's not you.
Not me.
Right.
No.
Like there's more videos that pop up that's not you than you.
Yes.
When you type your name in.
Yes. Yes.
And that's like a testament to, building a tribe and building a solid community and building something that can last. How could, give us a tip on like how could an entrepreneur like build that level of, almost like the Beyonce effect. Where, you got the beehive, you got the Bobby Price hive. Like how do you build that?
Well, the first thing I'll start with is I remember like the movie 300.
Yeah.
There's a part in the movie, and I don't know the direct quote, but the guy was like, man, they got 10,000 people in their army. And he was like, we only got 300. He was like, no, they got 10,000 farmers. We got 300 soldiers. And so I approached my people with that effect. Like, I know my people's names.
Yeah.
Like when I see somebody's social media handle come up, I'm like, how you doing, Lakeisha? And so when I say that to them, they're like, oh, how the hell does he know what my name is? Or like, for instance, when people DM me and they say, Dr. Bobby, I did your detox, it helped me, it changed my life. I'm trying to figure out what do I do for my mom. I send them a voice note. Now I don't do that for everybody, but my tribe, like the people who are for me, I go there for them. And the other thing that's really important, and I mentioned it before, is you gotta create products and services that create transformation. Like you can't just have transformation in your marketing. And a lot of people just have transformation in their marketing. What they're saying, the transformation is gonna happen.
Right.
But you gotta build transformation in your programs, you gotta build transformation in your products, you gotta build transformation in your customer service. So when people have a customer service experience with me, I want it to be transformative. And those are just a few things that I do. And then inside of my membership is where all the gold happens. Like, like I have people who have literally didn't have money to get chemo, because chemo can be $100 grand a year. And like I'm sending them to do stuff that's not chemo and is helping them. And now I have somebody who, no matter what happens in their life, I'm their person. And I'm not doing that for that effect. I'm doing that because remember what I said, focus on the outcome. Then comes the income. And so that is really what gets people on with me. And like we even had like a tribe day, because that's what it's called, Tribe Healing Community. And we had a tribe day. They came down to Miami. I took them to the farm. I let them see what food looks like growing on a fruit tree. I talked to them about it. I talked to them about my vision of what I had, not only for me, But for them, they're included in that vision. Like, yo, like this is just the first farm.
Yeah.
Like I'm opening up a whole healing center. Like I've had people ask me like, I'm willing to invest my retirement with you.
Wow.
To make this dream come true for you because, if I can live how you live and where you live, like I know I'm taken care of. Like I can trust you.
Wow.
And so that's a huge part of it.
Wow, no, I love that. I love that. Make sure y'all writing notes. And so now, like, another thing I want to go back to, because even, you talked about like in your 5-day challenge, the boot camp, you're teaching people that they don't have to have a large following, right, in order to build a 6-7 figure business. Yeah. Give us some tips, right? Because I think that's one of the things, especially like the person who's probably watching, who's like, I'm a healthcare professional, or I want to start, I want to learn how to build a business, and I want to take this boot camp. But yeah, I don't know how to build a large following, how to market the way these influencers are marketing. But give some tips to that person who doesn't have that large following.
I'm gonna give you one sauce, and then I'll give you some tips.
Yeah.
All right. So one of the things that really shifted everything for me was I saw people at the beginning. If you look at the beginning of my social media, I have no videos. I was uncomfortable with the camera. I didn't like my voice, but I love speaking in public. And so what I did was, I think I had at the beginning, it was 3,000 followers at the beginning. And I put it out there. I said, hey, anybody want to spend a whole day with me? I'll show you how I live. I'll show you how to live. I'll show you how to shop. I'll show you what to eat. I'm gonna do some food demonstrations. Let me know. I think I had 190 people say yes.
Wow.
And I said, okay, it's gonna be $176. And all of them said yes. So within a matter of a day, I had made 20 grand. And so what it made me realize was, don't focus on the numbers.
Wow. Yeah, that's good.
I was initially upset, I want all 3,000 of them to get this experience.
Yeah.
But what I didn't realize was I didn't need 3,000. I need 100 or 200 enthusiastic people about me and my journey and my philosophy to find me.
Yeah.
And that happened.
Yeah.
And then what happened was they told their family members about it. So then people wanted to come back with their family members. You understand? And so that's one thing that I think is really good.
Yeah.
The other thing I'll say is really good in terms of how you build a business with a small following is get all of them to hear you. I always say it's the first 50 that really matter.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna be I see so many influencers who have 500,000 followers, but when they do a live, it's 10 people on there.
Right, facts. Yeah.
You've seen it?
Yeah.
Okay. What if you focused on 50 and you had 50 people on there?
Yeah.
And then you said, share this.
Yeah.
Because I'm about to drop something on you that's gonna change your life.
Yeah.
You need to share this with somebody you love so their lives can be changed. And then 50 people say, I love my mother, I love my wife, I love my brother, my coworker is going through something, and 50 people send it to 10 people, and now you have 250 people on your live.
Yeah.
And they're gonna send it to people that they can text and say, you need to get on this live.
Right.
And so that's what I mean by that is you do not need thousands of people, because what happens is when 250 people are on that live, they're gonna be so, and again, it's all about you creating that value on that live, but they're gonna be so moved by the content. I'm gonna go live today.
Right.
They're gonna be so moved by the content, so inspired by it, so transformed by it. It's just like when you eat something real good, you I need to text somebody.
Right,
tell somebody,
100%. Always.
Boy, you see what I'm saying? And when people do that with lives now.
Yeah.
And so next time you show up on a live and you post, I'm doing live tonight, 250 people are showing up.
Yeah.
You maybe only have 3,000 followers, but you got 250 people showing up on your live.
Right.
And so it's not about the numbers. I remember this influencer that had 1.4 million followers.
Yeah.
They launched a t-shirt line and sold 4 t-shirts
Wow.
the first day.
Wow. Yeah.
So they had a following.
Right.
They were getting likes.
Yeah.
But they didn't know what to do with that when they offered them something. And it's because they hadn't been nourishing them through that process.
Yeah.
And so that's what I do with my people. Like, I don't focus on everybody. I focus on the few fanatical people who want me to be their guide.
Yeah.
And when I give them tips and, I give them, guidance on what they need to do, go share this, they share it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love that. So y'all gotta tap in. InsideHealthBootcamp.com. Spend 5 days with Dr. Bobby Price. So first of all, you need to spend the 5 days with him because number one, he's gonna help save your life, right? Because I love that you said that you were an athlete and also had high blood pressure.
Yeah.
Because like I guess our community, just America, honestly, we're so vain, if you will, that the only thing that we focus on is how we look.
On the outside.
On the outside. So we're like, you don't look good in this suit or whatever. Oh, you gotta lose some weight just so you can look good.
Right.
But not really worried about how you feel on the inside. So I'm glad you said that because, this is a wake-up call for athletes, for people who may look good on the outside, but you gotta see what you're feeding yourself inside.
Absolutely.
So you definitely want to make sure you tap in so you can spend 5 days, figure out, ask your questions, see what is it gonna take for you to live your life in abundance, physically, mentally, your whole well-being. I do have a question around maintenance though, right?
Okay.
So, after you detox, you get healthy, and I think I've tried veganism or vegetarianism for like 3 months is the longest I've been able to do it, but then it keeps calling me.
You're calling.
Me, right? So how do you maintain? Like, what is the secret to like maintaining? Like after you go through the process, you get the toxins out your body. Like, how do you like maintain a healthy regimen?
Well, the most important thing, and you hinted to it earlier, was that when you do the detox, it's going to get rid of parasites.
Yeah.
It's going to get rid of yeast.
Yeah.
And that's going to change your taste buds. And the reason why that's so important is because parasites and yeast hijack your taste buds. They love sugar.
Wow.
And sugar isn't just sweet stuff. Sugar is pasta. Sugar is pizza. It's bread. It's carbohydrates.
Wow.
I mean, it's refined carbohydrates.
Right.
And so a lot of times when people
Look,
tap...
you just said my son's whole diet. You said pizza, bread, pasta. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's parasites.
Yeah.
And when you're feeding them, you're not feeding yourself, which is why so many people have deficiencies.
So you're saying when you're eating those things, you're feeding the parasites, but not feeding you.
You're not. They're robbing you of your nutrients.
Wow.
For their own growth and sustainability. That's what a parasite is.
Wow.
It will kill the host to make itself grow.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? And so that's why the detox is so important, especially in today's society, because when you look at the amount of toxicity in the world today, like especially here in America, like it's everywhere. Yeah. And so like one of the most important things about doing the detox is your taste buds are gonna change because now you got these critters out of you.
Yeah.
And they're not calling those things for you anymore. And so once you go through that, now you're actually going to like healthy food. Not because you like healthy food now, just because your biology is actually set up to like healthy food.
Yeah.
And so now the cravings go away. Now the emotional eating isn't necessary.
Yeah.
And so it makes the journey easier for that reason.
Yeah.
The other thing that's really important is you gotta get a why. You gotta get a why when it comes to health. And I know that doesn't make any sense. You're like, why do I need a why? I need to be healthy.
Yeah.
But today people do, because being healthy is not normal.
Yeah.
You know, when you look at America, 70% of the population is overweight.
Yeah.
70% of the population is on a prescription drug.
Yeah.
So being healthy is not normal. Actually, it's abnormal.
Wow.
You understand?
Facts,
So when you
yeah.
think about it, it's like, because so many are unhealthy, the way we think about health is unhealthy too. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so we have to get our why and our purpose for that reason. And so, like, for me, my why is I want to create generational health. You know, not just wealth, but generational health, meaning like I'm so healthy that when I have a seed, I pass down the genetics of health.
Right.
I don't pass down toxicity.
Yeah.
I don't pass down, addiction.
Right.
You know, like babies come out addicted now.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? And so it's just really important for us to understand, like, once we get our why, our purpose, that purpose could be because, my son has autism. And I need to eat healthy, so I make sure that he eats healthy, because when children see you eat unhealthy, and you tell them to eat healthy, they ain't having that.
Yeah. How does or it does it like how does how you eat affect autism? Like, let's say a child does have autism.
Yeah.
Like, does food affect that in any
Absolutely.
kind of way? How?
Absolutely, because what you have to think about, this is a brain effect.
Yeah.
Okay, and food creates mood. You understand?
Yeah.
And food also will change our behaviors.
Yeah.
And so the same way, when you turn a box on its label and you start looking at all of those ingredients, and none of them sound like food.
Yeah.
They sound like chemistry. So I was a chemistry major in undergrad. And so when I look at a food label, I know it's exactly, I'm like, wait, that same ingredient is in paint thinner. No, I'm not kidding. This is children's cereal.
Wow. Yeah.
And I look at another ingredient, I'm like, that's a bromide. That'll kill somebody. And so as you start to look at these, you understand that the gut is very connected to the brain.
Yeah.
And so because you're affecting the gut, you're causing damage to the brain.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Like, I'll guarantee you this, if you look at any child with autism, no child comes out with autism. It develops.
Right.
No child is born and they're not looking at their parents, they're away from they don't want to be held. No child is born that way.
Yeah.
It develops around 2 and the age 3.
Yeah.
Okay, so what have you been doing from the ages of 2 to 3? And when you start to think about the amount of toxicity they're getting and the type of foods they're getting, I mean, it starts with baby formula.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the first, because most people unfortunately aren't breastfeeding anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, it also starts before that, even with a C-section. Because when you have a natural birth and you go through the womb, that baby gets a swab of good bacteria that then enforces their immune system. You understand?
Yeah.
The breast milk enforces their immune system. So if nobody's breastfeeding, most people aren't having natural births anymore.
Yeah.
And then you're feeding your baby food that isn't natural.
Yeah.
Formula for the first year, and then they go straight into processed food. You got to understand how damaging that is for a 2 to 3 year period.
Wow. Yeah.
Like for an adult like us, it's different when we're eating that.
Right.
We have developed detoxification organs.
Right. Right.
We have a developed immune system. We have a fully developed brain.
Yeah.
But when you're eating this before your brain has even developed,
Yeah.
your gut has fully developed, your immune system is fully developed, everything it's like setting all your wealth out on the porch
Yeah.
and taking a 7-day vacation.
Yeah.
You're bound to lose something.
Yeah.
And so, yes, like, food is a very important part of that conversation, because, that the moniker, like, food is medicine, is like real, bruh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I can dive into that, but like, trust me, like, the science is there. Like, food is medicine, but it's the unfortunate thing is the way we think about food in box, cans, jars, bags, etc.
Right.
That's not food.
Right. Yeah.
But we've been duped into thinking that it is food.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, y'all, a lot of powerful information. Look, I could keep him here forever because I got tons and tons of questions. But understand that the food that you're eating is not only hurting you, it is stopping you from living your life. So most of the people who are watching this show, I know you are looking to live in abundance. I know you are looking for that longevity. And so you have to do everything in your power so that you can pass down generational health. Spend 5 days with him. I promise you he knows what he's talking about. InsideHealthBootcamp.com. If any last words for the people?
Well, the big thing I would tell people is like, one of the things you speak on a lot is abundance.
Yes.
And what I tell people is your greatest abundance is attached to the highest version of you. And the highest version of you is the healthiest version of you. Nice. You understand, when you have diabetes, when you have high blood pressure, when you have an autoimmune condition, when your body is raging at you in the form of symptoms, you can't even hear intuition being downloaded from the divine. You can't even hear opportunity knocking for you. There are relationships that been put in place for you, but you're not even in a place mentally to nurse those relationships. And so they go past you. And so the big emphasis I would put on people is start making your health a priority instead of an option. Because here's the thing, when you think about the major organizations in this country, Big Pharma, they make drugs that don't heal. You've never seen high blood pressure medication make somebody not have high blood pressure. Right. They still got it. So they don't heal you, they treat you. The food industry is supposed to nourish you. It doesn't. It's full of genetically modified foods. It's full of food chemicals. They're not there to nourish you. You think about the hospital. You go there. If you go there and you feel bad, and then they check your vitals and it's normal, they send you home. They don't know how to treat healthy people. They don't even know how to make you healthy. They know how to remove the symptoms. So when you look at those three industries and you think to yourself for a second, this is who I'm putting my health in the hands of? You can't do that. You have to be your first physician. Not me, not your doctor. You have to be your first, you have to be the gatekeeper. And so I think that's so important. So that's why I always tell people, find a mentor, find somebody who can guide you along that journey. So if you don't mind, I can give my text number. 100%. So text me at 404-476-5776. Text Thrive. Thrive. Not surviving, thriving. THRIVE. And get in the network, get some information coming to you daily so that you can get in a space where health is normal to you. And not just satisfying taste buds and et cetera.
And I will say this though too, because you just reminded me of something. I consider myself a master manifester, meaning that if I desire something, I'm able to meditate, I'm able to visualize it, I'm able to actually make it appear in real life. During this so far I'm on day 5 of my detox, my mind has been so clear that it's almost scary how anything I've been talking about have been popping up a little faster. In the form of a conversation, in the form of a person or reaching out, all of that stuff. And so I do believe that there's power in a clear mind. There's power in being able to truly live in abundance by being able to rid your body of the toxins and then being able to call upon the things that are necessary. So you, like you said, you can hear the divine. You can see those opportunities. You can also see when something's not right for you. By being clear, right? Sometimes when you have that toxic, you don't attract what you want, you attract who you are. So if you got toxic in you, then you're attracting toxic people, and there's no coincidence for that.
Because when you think about it, most people have between 10 and 25 pounds of undigested feces just sitting, rotting, fermenting in their stomach. So just think about that. So when people say, I got a gut intuition, how can you trust it?
Wow, it's full of oh, sorry.
You see what I'm saying? I'm glad you said it. But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like our gut is called the second brain.
Wow.
And it's really the first because in a lot of the communication between the gut and the brain, the first line of communication is coming from the gut first.
Yeah.
And there's a hormone in our gut or neurotransmitter called serotonin. Serotonin is referred to as the happy molecule. It actually makes us happy.
Wow.
90% of it is made in our gut.
Wow.
So when we have an unhealthy gut and we have an unhealthy mood like depression and anxiety, it makes sense. You understand? So it's just so important for people to understand. Like, I'm sure you're on day 5, so you got the experience of not the weight going away, even though the weight is going, but the waste.
No, 100%.
Losing waste.
100%. Yeah.
What you don't like, there's people in our life that is waste.
Yeah.
We got thoughts in our mind that is waste.
Yeah.
We got things in our body that is waste and it's blocking us
Yeah.
from having the experience we're supposed to have because, you know, we're not human beings having a spiritual experience. We're spiritual beings having a human experience.
Ooh, that's good,
And with that being said, we come into the body to experience limitation.
Yeah.
Because in our spiritual form, we're unlimited. So we come here to experience limitation, but not in that form.
Wow.
You understand? So it's just really important for people to kind of tap in that way.
Woo! I'm telling you, man. Dr. Bobby Price talking spicy. My brother, I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for everything that you do.
Nah, thank you.
I can't imagine what I'm gonna feel like. I'm going 28 days. So normally you could go 14 days or 28 days, but I said, listen, I need to be my highest self.
I bought the package for you and wifey
Yes.
because it's not just about you, King.
Yeah.
Like, this is about you and your wife and your family, bro.
Yeah.
Like 20 years from now, like when your kids are living different, you're living different, you're feeling different.
Yeah.
You know, you're leaner and fitter in this 6'3" frame. She looking at you leaner and fitter in this 6'3" frame. You know, it's just that energy that comes from being healthy, man. Like it's different, brother. And so
and it's funny you say that because like my wife always says, she's like, I'm gonna live to 96. I'm gonna live to 96. And you know, she's been so good to me and the family. Like, why would I want her to live to 96 and not be right there with her? You know what I'm saying? And so I think that, you know, for me, just being able to, honor that, like honor that connection, like honor, like that's why I'm doing it. You know what I'm saying? For like
your why.
Kid, but that's my why. You know what I'm saying? Because I live a great life, got a great family. My kids are awesome. My wife is awesome. So why wouldn't I want to be the best version of myself for them? You know what I'm saying?
And the example.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because they're looking to you.
Yeah.
Like what you do, they're going to do with you.
Yeah, 100%.
Because you're the leader in the family.
Yeah.
So if you're eating healthy, they may come along slower, but like they coming.
Yeah.
You know, like even the kids, bro, trust me, like they're watching.
Yeah.
And as they're watching, 20 years from now, when they're choosing a salad over fries, that's on you and wife.
Yeah, 100%.
You did that.
Yeah.
And then when they do that to their children, you did that.
Yeah.
She did that.
Yeah.
And it's so important for us to include that in the conversation of generational wealth because we don't include health in that conversation.
Yeah.
But that's the greatest thing that we can pass down to our children.
Yeah, 100%.
Is the ability to live disease-free.
Yeah.
The ability to live in the highest form that we're supposed to live.
Yeah. King, I appreciate you, man. Listen, if y'all don't tap in for the 5 days, check out his 5-day challenge inside healthbootcamp.com. Again, if people want to connect with you, where can they find you?
So text me 404, or if you're in Atlanta, 476-5776. Text Thrive. Not survive, thrive. Okay? And on social media, Dr. Bobby Price, YouTube, Facebook. On Instagram, I'm Dr. Holistic.
Let's go, y'all.
Doctor spelled out, DOCTORHOLISTIC.
All right, y'all. Another powerful episode of Inside the Vault. We are closing out the vault. Make sure you connect with us. Go to our website, InsideTheVaultShow.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at Inside the Vault. Me, I am Ash Cash. Make sure you visit me, IamAshCash.com. Follow me on all social media platforms at Follow me on all social media platforms at I am Ash Cash. Look, this is what I need you to do though. This show is so important that I need you to share it. I need you to like it. I need you to review it. I need you to rate it. I need you to subscribe to the podcast. I need you to tell your friend, tell your family, tell everybody. I need you to post on social media. I need you to tag Dr. Bobby Price. Like, everybody needs to understand that health is wealth. We are closing out the vault. I'm going to see you